A home caught fire today in Weakley County, Tennessee, a neighbor to Olbermann County. According to the Weakley County Sheriff's Office, its fire department requested and got assistance from the South Fulton Fire Department. Their help was guaranteed as part of a mutual aid contract between the county and the town. In our #1 story today, the system worked and the local government took action. Last Wednesday, it did not work very well when the local government refused to act and the home of Gene and Paulette Cranicks burned to the ground as the South Fulton Fire Department stood by and watched. The Cranicks' son, Todd, is still upset. He'll join us in a moment. First, we're happy to finally announce how you can help. You can donate to the Cranicks in one of two ways: by regular mail to Gene or Mildred Paulette Cranicks, care of Heritage Bank, Post Office Box 1410, Fulton, Kentucky 42041, and we'll repeat that address before the end of this news hour. Or you can go to the PayPal website, click Send Money, enter the email address cranicfirefund@yahoo.com. cranicfirefund@yahoo.com, and follow the instructions they give you thereafter. We'll give you that address again, too. Again, the Cranicks say their insurance will indeed cover most of what was lost in last week's fire. These funds will help them cover the balance. Yesterday, we brought you video from a news conference outside the Olbermann County Courthouse. Chief Bob Rivas, the fire chief of Hornbeak, Tennessee, whose department is currently not subscription-based, defending the pay-to-spray system as a last resort. Among the reporters covering the event was the son of Gene and Paulette Cranicks, who was unmoved by the chief's defense.
Are you aware that my neighbor was standing there with an open checkbook and told him to put it out, no matter what it cost? My dad, an open checkbook.
Yes, sir. That's what I've read.
It's not like the money wasn't there. $75 versus $5,000 or $10,000. Which would you rather have?
Yeah, I understand that.
And now here is Todd Cranicks, whose parents' home, as you know by now, burned because they didn't pay the $75 fire surcharge, forgot to send in the check. Todd, thanks for your time tonight. How are you and how are your parents doing?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you? Mom and Dad are fine.
Good. We're glad to hear that. Since this happened, there's been a lot of anger directed towards these firefighters themselves. Do you think that's entirely fair, or is this more the politicians' fault?
First off, we don't condone violence. What little brother did was not right, and he knows it. I'm not. What they did was wrong. To stand and watch a man's house burn is morally and ethically wrong. I couldn't do it myself. I don't know where to put the blame.
Does it look, from what you've seen in the last couple of days around there, that anybody there has gotten the message about this, that it is really ultimately unfair to put firefighters or family owners in this situation, that no matter what the rule might be, when the rubber hits the road like it did at your folks' house, you got to do the right thing? I mean, if this happened tomorrow, a mile from where you're sitting, would they still let the house burn down, or have people gotten the message?
I personally think they'd let it burn.
Yeah.
Hard, it's a hard call, but yeah, I personally do, because the little fire chief made the statement today on, I believe it was Fox. You got to draw the line somewhere. So yeah, I'm pretty positive they'd let one burn.
You know, and obviously from what you just said, you know exactly how big a story this has become around the country and what it means to people. Some people seem to think that what happened to that house that we're looking at behind you, what's left of it, was a good thing, a lesson. I want to play a clip of one of those people and then get your reaction to what he says. Listen to this.
If you don't pay your $75, then that hurts the fire department. They can't use those resources, and you would be sponging off of your neighbor's $75 if they put out your neighbor's house and you didn't pay for it. I mean, if your neighbor didn't pay for it, you did, and they put out their house, your neighbor is sponging off of your $75.
And as soon as they put out the fire of somebody who didn't pay the $75, no one will pay the $75.
Why would you?
Todd, obviously that was Glenn Beck, the commentator, who also called what happened to your parents equal justice. What do you make of that? What would you say to him and point out where he might be wrong in this?
I'm glad you played that. I've been wanting to hear that for a couple of days now. My response to that is that, would you rather have $75 yesterday or $5,000 or $10,000 in your hand right then? The money was there. thank God for my neighbors and my friends.
Yeah.
Bless their hearts. I love them to death. The money was there, more than the $75. If that man thinks that it was all about $75, he's lost his mind. Personally, if you offered me $75 yesterday or $5,000 a day, I'm going to take the $5,000 today. Goes a whole lot farther, I think.
Is that, do you think maybe we just stumbled on the solution to this thing, that maybe this system would work if you had a part of it where if there's actually a fire, you could pay it on the spot? I mean, if exactly that situation happened with your parents and the firefighters were authorized to say, okay, we'll take your IOU, and then as soon as the flames are out, give us the cash. Maybe that's the way to work out of this.
No, that's not going to work, because there are people out there that will tell you, yeah, I've got the money, and then when it comes time to pay up, they don't have it. I mean, and I understand that. You know, that's understandable. However, I do think there is a solution to all the problems. It's just going to take somebody with more of a brain than me to figure it out.
Me too. The good side of the reaction around the country, as you know, we have been swamped with people who want to help. And while we show this mailing address and the PayPal address again, tell me the monetary situation that your parents are in right now regarding the house, and what the donations will go for.
Well, right now everything's fine. The preacher talked to Dad the other night, and I talked to Dad, and what money he's got's not going to last forever, and we don't know for sure when this insurance adjuster is going to come through. And I told him there are people out there, you know, thousands of people that want to help and want to do. Go ahead and accept it. And if what you don't need or don't want, send off to a children's hospital, Red Cross, you know, whatever. Do good with it. Don't just sit on it, and do good with it.
And that's why it's not called sponging off your neighbor. It's called being a neighbor. And you answered my next question.
Exactly.
Todd Cranicks, we thank you for your time again, and all the best to you and your family. And we'll keep touch.
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
I do believe there are certain legalities here, and there needs to be some federal and statewide investigation go on here and find out what is going on, because I'm being told that none of our tax dollars are going to any of these fire departments, and I find that relatively hard to believe.
I understand that completely. We're looking into that right now. Again, Todd, thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
That's October 7th. I'm Keith Olbermann. Good night and good luck.